Disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. Coraline is a Focus Picture film and belongs to Universal Pictures, Lakia Entertainment, Paramount, Focus Features, and their respected owners. This video is in accordance to the copyright law and follows the 5 points of the fair use clause in the copyright law.
Child, I love to climb. Nobody could stop me.
Have you seen her?
She ain't missing. She's dead.
You have defied me for the last time.
I come back on a white horse.
I'm the second coming of Christ. Yes.
Not just because you share the name Jesus.
No.
Coraline Jones always in a better world. A world more exciting than this. But never did she imagine that she'd discover it in her own home. A parallel place.
We've been waiting for you, Coraline.
Where parents are always fun.
I love your garden! Can't believe you did this!
And everything is so good.
What's shaking, baby?
It just can't be real.
Mom? You're just in time for supper, dear.
You're not my mother. My mother doesn't have...
buttons? Do you like them? I'm your other mother, silly.
You probably think this world is a dream come true.
My name!
But you're wrong.
You do like it here, don't you, Coraline? You could stay here forever. There's one tiny little thing we need to do. Black is traditional.
She's got this whole world where everything's better, but it's all a trap.
You may come out when you've learned to be a loving daughter.
From Henry Selick, the director of The Nightmare Before Christmas, comes a world of extraordinary imagination. Spooky secrets.
Who are you?
You're in terrible danger, girl.
And daring discoveries.
I still have to find my parents. To set them free?
This year, when adventure comes knocking,
Choo-choo.
there are some doors that should never be opened. Coraline, written for the screen and directed by Henry.
Welcome back to Spidey's Movie Madness. One full week of movie reviews counting down to the review of the highly anticipated Watchmen. So let's get this thing going with the next movie in line, Coraline, starring Dakota Fanning and Terry Hatcher. Quite possibly one of the most ambitious and beautiful movies of our time, Coraline brings Neil Gaiman's story to life with every bit of imagination possible. Coraline tells the story of an adventurous girl, Coraline Jones, who becomes upset and bored after moving to the quiet suburbs. She soon finds a doorway to another world that mirrors her own, except with the perfections that she's always dreamed about, but not all things are the way they look. Now, we always complain about Hollywood taking the cheap and easy route for movies and how no one ever seems to be ambitious or wants to do something daring or new. Well, Coraline dares to take that challenge. CGI has become dominant in animation these days, but Coraline takes a classic approach to animation by having this film all in stop motion. On top of that, the movie is also in HD and 3D. I mean, goddamn, you couldn't ask for any more of this film. I mean, stop motion is a bitch of a thing to do. Everything must be done within a fraction of an inch, and it takes forever just to get a couple of seconds of footage. Now, don't quote me on this since I'm not fully sure, but I believe this movie was in production for 4 years. 4 years on careful planning, moving puppets a fraction of an inch and creating spectacular sets and images that have extreme details. I can't even begin to imagine the level of work and dedication it must have taken to make this film, and that's a sign of a crew who have a lot of heart and love for what they're doing, even if others don't agree. And that's what movie making should be all about, and that's how it's shown in this movie. I mean, this movie is seriously stunning and captivating to watch. Now, another aspect of this movie that rivals with its beauty is its score. The music is just so on point that it does help to take you to another world at times. Voice work is also great alongside its talented cast. Props and sets look beautiful and you can't help but to just say wow at times, but despite all the good the movie brings, it does have its flaws. While being ambitious in a movie is always a good thing, the movie tends to be a little too ambitious, forgetting that it's a kids movie at times. For example, the dialogue tends to either be aimed at adults or has subtle adult themes, like the questioning of the usefulness of a character's life and how his name reflects that. Now, I have no problem with such dialogue, but you would have to think that the movie's main demographic would be kids, and that they wouldn't really understand such conversations and moments. The movie also has a big pacing issue, slowing down the story many times for scenes that aren't really needed. On top of this, the movie is a little too long for such a short story. I mean, Coraline is a short story and they try to expand it into a complex 100-minute story, and that tends to cause slowdown and pacing problems. I mean, while I enjoyed the movie, I did notice that I was growing more tired as the movie was moving along, and some people were going in and out of sleep, and this was in a packed house. With that aside, the movie is still a great time despite its misses, and should be viewed during the daytime hours because the movie demands a lot of attention. Coraline gets an 8.5 out of 10.